States government is complicit in genocide. You have an obligation to the Constitution of the United States. Every American sitting at home right now needs to realize that you are paying for a genocide.
I spent 25 years of my life in service to wanting to help people and do good. And I wanted to be a part of alleviating the human suffering and feeding people that were starving. What I witnessed was an American contractor opening fire and shooting at an unarmed person, killing them. It's immoral, it's unethical, and it violates international humanitarian law and the Geneva Convention. It is against the law. It is a plan. It is deliberate. It is by design. It is evil. Our lawmakers, our elected officials are compromised. They are bought off by a foreign lobby, APAC, to make decisions not for the benefit of the United States, but for Israel. All that is required for evil to triumph is for the good to do nothing. That is how evil wins. Through intimidation, through lies, through scaring people. That works when we aren't united. But when the people are united, that doesn't work. It is time that if you're an American and you speak up against your government providing aid to a foreign government that's committing a genocide in our name, and you speak up against that and you lose your job, shame on us.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for all that you do for Palestine and for America and for humanity. Thank you all. I am truly, truly honored, and I am humbled for this recognition, but more importantly, to be here this evening amongst patriotic Americans who stand on American values and American principles. Earlier today, I also had the opportunity to spend a part of the day for a few hours with the Islamic Center of Irvine, and got to spend time with them talking about their actions in civil society and what they're doing. And with my week in traveling the country, but also on the 4th and that evening and watching Mayor-elect Mamdani win by an overwhelming majority, it makes me hopeful and it makes me proud. And it's not about politics. It's that should show us all that voting matters. We have a voice. We are not sheep. And we will not continue to listen to the lies, regardless of what they say. And I would ask all of you to notice that since the 4th of November, there has not been one accusation, one levied complaint of a rigged election, because it was overwhelming, without question. And that is how we get our country back. I always enjoy speaking in person and meeting such wonderful people across our nation. It also goes to disprove some of the debunking, or it goes to debunk, I guess, if the kids say, that I'm not AI or a robot. I am a real person. I was not developed by Hamas or by some terrorist organization to come and speak to America to try to get them to turn their back on Israel. Israel has done a good enough job of that themselves. And to echo what Mr. Mariotti said earlier this evening, in that against all accusations against me that have been levied toward me, speaking out against a genocide, foreign meddling in our government, tyranny and evil that I've seen in Gaza and the occupied Palestinian territories, that I nor we are not terrorist sympathizers, nor unpatriotic. And yes, to those that have said out there that I am not, I am also an American citizen. I was born here. Some have said I'm not. It's incredible. Served in the Army for 25 years, and yet my citizenship is questioned. What I will say is that we are not cowards. we are patriots, we are proud Americans, and to say or to assume anything or insinuate otherwise is nothing more than racist, bigotry, prejudice. It is Islamophobia. It is truthophobia. It's not like us, the elite-ophobia. And in short, it's ignorant. And we won't stand for it. Could you please bring up the map? I wanted this map as context because I came to realize that not many people understood the magnitude of going from 400 distribution sites, 550 distribution points, trucks of aid every day under the United Nations, under UNRWA, that when the United States and the Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation came into Gaza, we were delivering from not 400 but 4 sites, and at any given day only 1, and at any given time only 12 trucks, and no water. And in order for a Palestinian to receive food with the choice to starve or go through a combat zone, we put them at these sites, and we did it intentionally. In the face of opposition and in genocide, and what I witnessed in Gaza, in the design of these sites, and mind you, the Boston Consulting Group designed these sites 2 years before October 7th ever happened, so I don't want to hear October 7th. This was already in the plan. This is a genocide by design. It is a genocide in practice. And mark my words that the brains behind this genocide came from this country, and what happens there will come here. In this moment, we are all Palestinian. We are all victims of tyranny and oppression. And mark my words, just like us, Palestine will be free. A day is coming, and as Martin Luther King once said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that true peace is not merely the absence of oppression and violence, it is the presence of justice. And to the regime, to our presidency, to our administration that is involved, to those that have allowed this to happen, justice is upon us, and it will come, and it's here. We can see it every day as Western media are now allowed back into Gaza. We will see it. To President Trump and to Secretary Rubio, to Ambassador Huckabee, to Mr. Kushner, and to Prime Minister Milakowski, this is not a time for petty politics, post-conflict, nepotistic, neo-colonialism, like the Gaza Riviera, or the real estate of Gaza, or the next Gaza Lago. There is a mindless menace of hate and violence in our world. We not only accept it in the occupied Palestinian territory in the West Bank and in Gaza, we accept it here in full view and consciousness of the world, all over the world. Occupation and oppression. It stains who we are as a people. It stains our lives. It stains the lives of Palestinians. And it stains our humanity. Mark my words, I have witnessed it with my own eyes. I have seen it. It is not only by definition, it is in reality. It is a genocide. It is ethnic cleansing. Is it an attempt at cultural erasure? Starvation. Weaponized aid. If you look at that map, all of that red is what still remains and will remain under Israeli occupation. That doesn't look very free or ceasefire or peace and prosperity to me. What that looks like is another lie. And those of you that have been watching the news and you hear about the yellow line, well, that yellow line that traces that area between the red and the white pushes forward every day. And anybody that crosses that yellow line is killed. Woman, child, man or woman, old or young. That is not a ceasefire. We are simply waiting for the continuation of the genocide. And if Israel does not drop one more bomb, the starvation, the famine, the disease, the exposure to the elements will kill thousands. It's the truth. We said never again. One generation removed, never again. What I witnessed in Gaza and what I experienced when I came home in our government, this is not the concern of any one race. As I said, we are all Palestinian in this moment. The victims of this genocide, of this violence, of violations of international human law and of humanity, the victims are not just brown, black, or white, or Muslim, or Christian, or Jew, or man, or woman, adult, or child, famous or unknown, and more importantly, we are all human beings. We are all Palestinians because we are all the victims if we allow this to continue and we allow it to go unanswered. How would I describe a Palestinian? Loved, needed, wanted, cherished, deep culture and history. It took me a lot to come around to wearing this keffiyeh. It's very important to me. It's from Bethlehem. Because I felt that I hadn't earned it, and I'm trying. And this award, and for this person, I wanted to show really quick before I come off stage this picture of Basma. This young girl, when she came to distribution site number 3, that was the one nearest Khan Yunis on that map that I previously showed, and when she showed up, there was no food left on the site. No food left. And she showed up with her purple backpack. She was there on behalf of her family to get food. And she came up to me and another contractor, and she said, "Where's the food?" And I said, "We don't have any more, and I'm sorry." We had this box of cookies that we had purchased to give to some of the children because they came many miles without anything to eat. They were caloric deficient. And I gave her this package of cookies, and she ripped it open, and she started handing them out to other children. And there was a box that I had, and she said, "Give me another one." And I gave it to her. She handed it out. She said, "Give me another one." And I gave her another one, and she handed them out. There was one left, and I said, "There aren't many left." And she said, "If you're not going to feed my people, then I will." And as I handed her the last package, the IDF had said that we had to move them off the site because they had to leave. And I said, "It's dangerous. You have to go. You have to go home." And I gave her this last package, and she put it into her purple backpack. And as she did, she pulled out a photograph, and she showed it to me, just like this. And she pointed it, and she said, "This was my home. This was my home. Right here where you made this site, where you leveled everything, my home, where I grew up, where I played with my siblings, where I was born in that hospital that is no longer there, the mosque that I prayed in that is gone, the playground that is gone, I was here. This is my home." And as she cinched up her backpack and she was walking away, she stopped and she turned back to me and she said, "You go home." And I did. I'll end by this in saying that we must free ourselves from AIPAC. We must free ourselves from hate and foreign control. This is not about a religion, it is about hatred. We the people, remember that. We the people have a voice. In this country, we do not accept kings. We do not honor queens. No petulance, nor tyrants, nor dictator. We the people have the power. One, we must use it. We have agency, and we must demand it. Thank you.